Here, revealing the terrifying discovery at Oak Island, come, let's join the scientists and their team on an exhilarating quest for buried treasure as they unravel ancient mysteries, decode cryptic maps, and unearth fascinating artifacts in the relentless pursuit to uncover the elusive riches hidden beneath Oak Island's enigmatic shores. Let's get started. Few mysteries involving hidden or lost wealth have held the attention of such a diverse ensemble of personalities for as long as the fabled Oak Island wealth has. Privately owned and about 140 acres in size, Oak Island is located off the coast of Nova Scotia in eastern Canada. While there are many stories surrounding the discovery of the Oak Island treasure, it is generally accepted that it all started in the summer of 1795 when a curious young Nova Scotian boy named Daniel McGinnis was out fishing on Oak Island when he came across a strange depression or hollow in the ground. The next day, packing pickaxes for digging, McGinnis returned to the area with some of his pals, determined to find out what it was. The young people quickly discovered what is believed to have been the upper portion of what was a man-made shaft that had been hidden by clay layers around the hole that had initially aroused McGinnis's interest. During the heyday of piracy in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, Oak Island was long thought to have served as a sanctuary for pirates who sailed up and down the east coast of North America and south into the Caribbean. They questioned whether they had found the location of a pirate captain's hidden loot. However, as they dug further, the shaft began to fill with water due to the island's unique location on a glacial tumulus. No treasure was discovered, but the legend that developed around the alleged hidden wealth was so compelling that for 225 years, people have traveled to Oak Island to find it. Beyond the money pit, as the first shaft dug by McGinnis and his friends has come to be known, the search for rich items buried beneath the island expanded over the years. But what precisely is intended to be in the treasure? Theories. Theories about what the Oak Island treasure might contain abound, and they range from the fanciful to the plausible. The most popular and reliable theory contends that it was hidden by a notable pirate during the height of piracy, roughly between 1660 and 1730. This was a time when renowned buccaneers and pirates roamed the seas off the east coast of North America, from Canada down to the Caribbean islands, including Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard. The degree of pirate activity at the time was so high that the governments of Spain, England, France, and other nations having a vested interest in defending their shipping in the region were powerless to stop them from preying on expensive colonial ships returning to Europe. The Treaty of Utrecht, which ended the War of the Spanish Succession in 1713, contained a clause to take action against pirates, but it wasn't until then that coordinated attacks on pirates in the Western Atlantic put an end to the heyday of piracy. Oak Island treasure and Captain Kidd. The most widely held theory about the Oak Island treasure is that it might be the hidden plunder of Captain William Kidd, a Scottish pirate who lived in the 1690s and is thought to have buried a sizable amount of treasure during one of his expeditions. Was there some of Captain Kidd's loot hidden on the island? A trove that Kidd buried on Garner's Island off the eastern coast of Long Island is the only significant pirate figure for whom there is genuine evidence of him doing so. Are there booby traps all over the place, or are those just rock formations? The Money Pit and Oak Island. If the Oak Island Money Pit was man-made, many people wonder. Geology suggests that the Money Pit was probably not a hidden treasure vault built by humans. The sea and water table on the island is prone to eroding the bedrock. As a result, a network of faults and caverns is formed underground that is susceptible to collapsing and producing natural sinkholes. But the allure has brought treasure hunters to the little island. The tales have generated and continued conjecture on the origin of the pit. Further hypotheses regarding the Oak Island treasure. There are other, fancier hypotheses on the Oak Island treasure. One claims that the Money Pit may hold the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant, two biblical artifacts more frequently linked to the fabled Knights Templar riches. Another belief holds that those gems were once owned by Marie Antoinette, the notorious French queen. The supposition of Marie Antoinette's jewelry is supported by the fact that the maidservant who received the jewels from the Queen during the French Revolution in 1789 later fled to England before settling in Nova Scotia. The hypothesis that first surfaced in the 1950s, however, must undoubtedly win the award for being the most ludicrous theory surrounding the Oak Island treasure. This asserts that records found in the Money Pit show that Francis Bacon, a philosopher and statesman active in the early 17th century, truly wrote William Shakespeare's works. As a result, a wide variety of theories about what it contains have developed in the absence of being able to access the Money Pit or the discovery of riches elsewhere on Oak Island. What was discovered in Oak Island's Money Pit? Since McGinnis originally found the Money Pit back in the 1790s, there has been no shortage of treasure seekers and explorers prepared to search for it, despite the uncertainty of what the Oak Island treasure may contain or whether it even exists. Several businesses, including the Onslow Company, had been established by the early 1800s to conduct excavations near the Money Pit and elsewhere on the island. Water flowing into the underground levels inside the Money Pit prevented them from continuing to dig down several feet. The Money Pit becomes so intricately booby-trapped with flood tunnels around 60 meters below the surface that nobody has ever managed to reach the bottom or discovered how to stop the pit from flooding. This impression of a carefully guarded burial chamber, along with the years-long discovery of unrelated items like scraps of antiquated parchment, chunks of rusted iron, and even a stone with intricate carvings, have only added to the mystery and persuaded many intrepid explorers that there is something to be found on Oak Island. Even some renowned people have been drawn to it over time. Searching for the treasure. Because of his father's business interest in Nova Scotia, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, became intrigued by the story when he was a young man. He continued to follow news about Oak Island's progress throughout the rest of his life and had even intended to visit the location in 1939 before the start of the Second World War in Europe derailed his plans. John Wayne and Errol Flynn, two well-known stars from the 1950s, both contributed to searches for the Oak Island treasure. These haven't helped much, but they nonetheless keep producing evidence that intrigues and confounds people in equal measure. For instance, a camera thrown into the Money Pit in the early 1970s acquired images of what some people think is a wooden chest and the bone remains of a human hand, adding credence to the theory that this is the location of a stolen pirate treasure. By taking part in treasure hunts on the island, people are still looking for the treasure today. In the past 20 to 30 years, several businesses have constructed tourist destinations here, and some of these have obtained permits to continue looking for the fabled wealth of Oak Island. Has the treasure from Oak Island been located? Even though we may never know if there's wealth buried on Oak Island, whether at the Money Pit or another location on this tiny island off the coast of Nova Scotia, it continues to be one of the most intriguing tales of fabled treasure to have spread in the contemporary era. It is not implausible to think that Oak Island was a pirate haven in the 17th or 18th centuries, and that stolen goods were buried here, even though we may dismiss as fantastical the idea that the site is a hidden repository for the jewels of a notorious French queen, or the key to proving Francis Bacon is the real author of Hamlet and Macbeth. The site's peculiar features, which McGinnis and his pals first began exploring in 1795, add to all of this. Here we have a strange glacial formation that continuously floods with water, one which has been made even more intriguing by the discovery over time of strange artifacts, including a stone with unusual symbols and video footage of what looks like a chest and a skeleton down in the depths of the Money Pit. Given all of this, it is hardly surprising that Oak Island has gained so much media attention throughout the years. That's all for the video today. We will be back with more. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.